Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, YouTubers. This is Jerry Diamond with How to Get Out of Babylon. I have, last night I've done so much research and studying and writing and stuff that I ran out of time and energy to do a video. So, since I'm not in the middle of reading a book, I didn't bother to do anything, so I apologize. Hey, I've decided what I'm going to do. I've been reading fiction books. As I say, this isn't fiction. It's history. It just hasn't happened yet. I'm going to read a book that's kind of fiction in the making. You know, life imitates art. And I'm going to read my How to Get Out of Babylon book. So you can go to lulu.com, as you see here on the screen. You can buy it. A lot of people download the PDF and they send me some money. That's good, because I don't get anything if you buy it from them. I mean, I don't care. It's a hard copy, but I don't have anything in there to make anything, and that's fine. I mean, it's been out there for 18 years or whatever. Ever since I first published it, I haven't made anything on it. At first I was, and then they weren't keeping track, and I never did get any money from them. So I just thought, well, if I'm not going to get any money from them, I might as well not charge anybody any money for it. So that $6.08 is what they charge to print it and mail it. So anyway, but you can download the PDF there, boom, free. So that's I'm going to read that and it'll be an updated version. You can, if you want to listen to it as like an audio book. I read the first 6 sections, and they're early in my, a lot of my earlier videos there. I think I probably have a playlist on it. If not, I'll make one. But there were 8 sections, and I read the 6th one, and then things changed in my life, and blah blah. Stuff happens, as Forrest Gump would say. So anyway, I'm going to read that with commentary. So it'll basically be my 1,000 Bunny Trail story, the beginning of it. And a lot of it will cover, things that have happened, things that I basically not really predicted per se, but saw, and that are true, and things that have happened, that I actually wrote, literally happened, even almost cooler than what I wrote about. So anyway, and the reason I'm doing it is because I listened to a guy on YouTube, and about what is the difference between great companies that succeed and other ones that don't. People that succeed with their life mission and other ones that don't. And he said the difference is not, I don't want to tell you how, I don't want to tell you why. I want to tell you why. In other words, he said there were a lot of great preachers back when. Martin Luther King succeeded in the civil rights movement because he said, I have a dream. So, I do have that. It's a vision, it's a dream, it's an idea, and unless I can portray that and get it across to people, it's not going to happen. So, unless other people grasp, and all it is, it's not my dream, it's just what I'm seeing, what I'm trying to speak into existence is the kingdom of Yahweh. So unless we can grasp the reality of how to take what we read in Scripture and bring it into real life, it's not going to happen. So unless we start unless more than 1 or 2 people, or 10 people, or 100 people treat others like they would like to be treated, it's not going to happen. Unless we start being unselfish, it's not going to happen. So that's what I'm talking about. So, all right. So just as a kind of a recap, not a recap, a summary, I ran across a review that I did many moons ago, and the way I did it, I read a book and I wrote a review of it, and it's a good encapsulating or summary of a big chunk of my story, my saga. So I want to read this. And I'm not wanting to focus on the book itself. The book was titled Noah's Ark, Discovering the Science Behind Man's Oldest Mystery. Now, I doubt that Noah's Ark is man's oldest mystery, but, it's just one of man's oldest mysteries, whatever. Who built the pyramids? Why were the pyramids built? Might be older. Think. Where is Atlantis? But anyway. So I'm going to kind of read this and just talk about it because it summarizes a big chunk of my idea, and you'll see why I'm saying this and reading this in a minute. All right, so this is going to be a review, and then I also wrote a later commentary, updating of that review, and it encapsulates a lot of my saga. So, all right. Possibly the strangest and most interesting, well-presented book I have read. The thesis of this book was discovered and initially researched by the author, Alan Moen, on Google Earth. Anyone can see for themselves the strange phenomena he discovered, pie-shaped plateaus at the center of 5 continents, 1/3 of a pie. These plateaus, rising up high above the plains around them, are precisely centered on the highest mountain or significant geological formation in the regions. In addition, being at the center, all rivers drain away from them. Why is that significant? No floods would occur due to heavy rainfall. These plateaus are so huge. Sorry. These plateaus are so huge. Sorry. And are so peculiar yet similar in size, shape, and degree of arc, precisely 120 degrees, 1/3 of a pie, for which the percentage would be 33.333%, and the decimal is 0.333, that they demand some hypothesis to explain them as being artificially built. If that is the case, that they are indeed artificial, then they are undertakings rivaling and even far surpassing this construction of Stonehenge and the pyramids based on the sheer magnitude of tonnage of materials used in their construction. Mr. Moen presents evidence that 3 of the 5 have evidence of a civilization of tall, blonde people in the area. Right at the center of North America were, and still are, the Mandan Indians, right by Turtle Mountain in North Dakota, one of the plateau arcs of angle. That's about, right about there, 120 degrees. The Mandans were discovered by Lewis and Clark, who were directed by Thomas Jefferson to look out for white Indians who spoke Welsh and Hebrew. Their chief was named Big White because he was over 6 feet tall, had blonde hair, etc., blue eyes. I have a cousin who lived within 40 miles of Turtle Mountain, quote unquote. People up there, the local name is mountains plural, but it's basically is one, like the OzArk Plateau. OzArk Plateau is a couple hundred miles long. It's one dome, according to geologists. It's one mountain, one peak. Her brother worked with a huge Mandan with blonde hair, blue eyes. This is just another intriguing part of the puzzle. The ancient Indian lore of how Turtle Mountain was built, that a mountain was built, but it was too small. The Great Turtle instructed them to build a soft landing place, a soft landing spot, for a woman that would be falling from the skies. And then it was realized that it was too small, so they made it bigger. That is borne out and can be seen from satellite images. It is so obvious that even on my Droid phone, this was back when, I can clearly see a 30-mile plateau arc and a larger 50-mile plateau arc. So yeah, they are artificially built. By whom or what is the question. And I'm not even, never have really bothered who, what, when, where. A worldwide organization of 5 expeditions of perhaps 30 to 100,000 people each to explore, survey, yes, perhaps that was already done, but still to plan out, design, troubleshoot, build hundreds of miles of raised areas, some 300 feet high or 1,500 feet high, who knows how high they were, I did a rough calculation, some 1,500 cubic miles of rock, earth, logs, etc. utterly boggles the mind. In addition, after several thousand years, they are still green, still fairly level, and still clearly evident from space. Allen presents Noah as the architect and builder. I have no opinion about that, as it is so far out of my paradigm at present. However, the evidence he presents clearly warrants some kind of explanation along those lines. In other words, some kind of expeditions. The book, if it were fiction, would likely be a New York Times bestseller. It is so utterly fascinating, reading like a top-notch thriller and mystery. Moen presents a scenario of a highly organized, worldwide, systematic organization of multiple expeditions to create safe havens of arks of such gargantuan proportion that they would be capable of sustaining life under severely adverse conditions for millions of people. And he should have written it as a novel. Made it about a 600-page novel. He would have gotten a lot better sales and exposure. I have read hundreds of bizarre ideas and unexplained phenomena, but this book is right up there with the top 1% for the top spot. In fact, I would absolutely place it as the number one strangest yet most well-supported and thought-provoking thesis I have ever read, and I have read widely, diversely, and intensely for many decades. Okay. And then my follow-up really explained it even more. This is a follow-up to my Jerry Diamond's review of Alan Moen's book on Noah's Ark. I have to tell this story. I had several unanswerable questions about the book. Many of them related to who, what, when, where, how. The why is pretty clear. Was it really Noah behind these gigantic arks, and if so, that seriously affects the literal story in the Bible? Was it done by those who refused to listen to Noah? Was it fallen angels who engineered the operation? In any case, what is the explanation of the blonde hair, blue eyes of people living or buried near the arks? There are hundreds of questions like that one can ask and have little to no hope of ever receiving answers to. The strangest thing is that my one huge question was this, and I actually prayed this. Okay, so I felt like I was led to learn about this bizarre and apparent fact, that there are these artificial safety zones which were prepared many centuries ago. Of what possible practical value can it have today in real life and in my life? Why was I shown this? I received an answer in the form of a live woman who stood in front of me, nearly yelling. I wake up every morning and the clock says 3:33 a.m. What does 333 mean? What does 333 mean? More on that a little bit later. I need to preface the story with a little bit of my own story so that her story makes sense. And this is where I'm just going to give a quick recap of my vision. In the year 2000, I had a vision of a young family of refugees coming through the woods. I see them find a home that they never knew existed before they saw it, but which had been built for them or whoever found it first. That simple vision led to a 3-day marathon of ideas pouring through my mind on how to prepare an entire region as an ark, with the express purpose to help people get out of the cities and into a safe region where they could grow their own food, etc. I took notes on the flood of ideas pouring through my mind virtually non-stop, waking and sleeping for 3 entire days and nights. I ended up making it into a book and putting it up a website. The site is howtogetoutofbabylon.com. Used to be, thanks to a friend that is still alive because he started reading the book as he had a gun to his head, but didn't want to help me pay for the website. Anyway, for the last 18 long, lonely years, I have relentlessly pursued that vision, how to inform as many people as possible all across the nation in as many areas as possible, i.e. shelter, survival, food production, preservation, etc., etc., to increase their chances of surviving a national and even worldwide level calamity. This grew to literally hundreds, even thousands of topics, an extensive attempt as best I could manage it with limited resources and skills to prepare a place for millions of refugees. This also came to involve a tremendous amount of insight and research on the question of where to go, into an ever-crystallizing message that there is one major place of refuge on the continental United States, C-O-N-U-S, continental United States. That place is part of the U.S. interior highlands and is called the OzArk Plateau. Initially, I saw that it was shaped like a parallelogram. Oddly enough, after reading Moen's book, I realized that it was shaped like a diamond, and that it consisted of two facing, opposing 120-degree arcs. I talked to the author, Alan Moen, on the phone. I asked him if he had seen that coincidence, and he had. In addition, he pointed out that if you bisected the two, the line points straight to Turtle Mountain. Strange. I said, what does that mean? He goes, I don't know, but it's cool. You know, I mean, it was just like... And he asked me, he said, I got his phone number from, just Googled it, you know, and he asked me for my phone number. I gave it to him, you know, 417-988-0333. And he goes, your phone number has 3 3s in it. And I was like, wow. I hadn't not connected it because I'd had that number for like 12 years. I wondered why in the world I got a long distance number when every business, every church, every family, every cell phone in the entire area had a 276 prefix, a local prefix. I got a long distance prefix centered in Springfield, which is the center of the circular region, this river basin around the OzArk Plateau. Anyway, he immediately pointed out it had 3 3 in it. I was strange again. I learned about the Laurentian craton from Dutch Sense and learned that the craton is a gigantic arc. It literally floats, it cannot sink. In Greek it means shield and is the core of the North American tectonic plate. The OzArk Plateau is the heart of the craton. I wrote a manifesto and did a video series, you can look it up, manifesto for the OzArk Plateau of over 100 points that show that it is the best place to relocate to before or in the event of a national level economic, social disaster, earth catastrophe, foreign invasion, end of the world scenario, the end of the world as we know it, etc. Back to the woman who woke up at 3:33 every morning. If she got gasoline, it was 3:33. You know, the total price was 3:33. A couple items at the store came to 3:33. She was trembling. She was reciting all of these coincidences, and there was a lot of them. And she was nearly screaming. And at that point, she was like, had her arms up in the air. What does 333 mean? What does 333 mean? What does 333 mean? When I told her it meant an ark, a place of safety, of refuge, she nearly collapsed into my friend Lori's arms, shaking and sobbing. We were in the process of extracting her from a cult, and she was going to be moving here to the plateau. She is going to be a part of helping prepare for other refugees, single women, as a matter of fact, in ministry. That woman was an awesome answer to my questions that I had prayed, literally. What practical value will this information about 333 and 120 degrees and arcs ever have, and why was I directed to read that book and learn about this phenomenon? Today I Googled, I wake up at 333. After opening about 4 pages, Google tabs, over 30 tabs, I started looking ahead to see how many pages of Google had applicable hits. In other words, most searches start to fuzz out. They get nonsensical after the 4th page or so. Not this one. After 14 pages of entries, it was still going strong. This tells me that millions of people across this country and around the world are having this experience. The day after I met this lady, another woman from Florida called and told me she was waking up at 3:33 every morning. And you drive them down the road and you look at the clock in the car, 3:33, bank 3:33, gas 3:33, code number, password 3:33 in it. Here is what I see in all of this. There is a national arc, that is the OzArk Plateau. It is comprised of 2 facing 120-degree 333 arcs facing each other. It is the only geometric shape to be found on the continental United States. In other words, you pan out to 300 miles, 500 miles, 20,000 miles, you can see it. It's a diamond. Technically, it is a rhombus. In simple terms, it is a diamond. It is a green island of survival, sticks out like a green sore thumb, and can be clearly seen on Google from anywhere from 500 to 20,000 miles altitude, if there were such a thing. It is the center of the continental United States and will become the go-to place of refuge as Earth changes, astronomical events, economic and civil breakdown, and eventually invasion from both coasts and both borders occur. These will drive people inland as described in George Washington's Valley Forge vision. Then my eyes beheld a fearful scene. From each of these countries arose thick black clouds that were soon joined into one. And throughout this mass there gleamed a dark red light, by which I saw hordes of armed men who, moving with the cloud, marched by land and sailed by sea to America, which country was enveloped in the volume of cloud. And I dimly saw those vast armies devastate the whole country and burn villages, towns, and cities that I beheld springing up. My ears listened to the thundering of the cannon, clashing of swords, shouts, and cries of millions in mortal combat as her defenders were driven inland into a wedge-shaped pattern. The OzArk Plateau is a wedge-shaped pattern, whether viewed from the east, west, north, or south. It is formed of 4 wedges. There is far more. 2 of them are 120 degrees to the north and the south, and 2 of them are 60 degrees from the east and west. Figure it out. The OzArk Plateau, There is far more to this than can be even summed up here. The long and the short of it is, I have said to thousands of people for many years now, drive now or walk later. Be a part of the solution instead of the problem. Move here now under the best of conditions with all of your resources, tools, family, etc., rather than with little or none of your resources, tools, family, etc., or worse, with nothing but the shirt on your back and under the worst of circumstances, and be a part of the problem. That was the condition of the young family in my vision back in the year 2000 that touched off my 14 years of research and planning on how to prepare an ark, a green island of survival for up to 40 million refugees. With the myriads of 333 phenomena happening to people, my message to those people who have ears to hear is this. People, it's time to get on board the ark. DNOWL, drive now or walk later. So that summarizes my vision. It's up to us, all of us, to work together to help each other. And if we don't, my take on it is, if this does not come to pass, if we don't help each other, nobody is going to make it. We will all be wiped out. There will be no hope for anybody to survive. I don't believe that'll happen. I believe that something's going to galvanize, something's going to happen, something's going to, spread the light, spread the fire, spread the flame, and we're going to start working together. But we have to do that at some point in time. Every one of you listening to me right now, you're sitting on your stuff, you're sitting on your money, your gold, your silver, your resources, and probably 90, maybe 95% of you are going to, it's not going to do you any good. Scripture says your gold and your silver you're going to throw out in the street. Might as well do it now. Take the gold, throw it out in the street. It's not good for anything in God's economy other than paving the streets of heaven. And if you're going to keep it all to yourself, you're probably never going to walk on the streets of heaven. So that's just my take. And that's kind of a simplistic approach. You got to have control of your own life. You got to have control for your family. Yes, you've got to have control, but it doesn't mean being grasping. You can't. Goats are selfish. If we're sheep, we're going to share. Goats are grasping, sheep are sharing. Makes sense to me anyway. So, pay it forward. It's time to pay it forward. He is no fool who gives what he cannot keep to gain what he cannot lose. It's about time to start living like a true believer. So, all right. Listen to Keith Green on sheep and the goats. Just finish this and listen to that. That'll tell you what's going to happen to a lot of people. When did we see you naked? When did we see you hungry? Lord, when did we see you in prison? When did we see you in need? If we'd have seen you hungry or, at one point, hey, somebody go out and get the Lord a hamburger. He's hungry. It's too late for that, And I don't think he eats at McDonald's or Burger King. So, no, it's happening right now. The number of people that have been sent away hungry, ignored, starving, cold, thirsty. I can't tell you how many times that has happened to me. So, from people who supposedly cared for me, supposedly loved me, smirking while I was starving, laughing while I was freezing. talking behind my back when I was thirsty and had nothing to drink. Yeah. So that's everyone that is in that situation. They are Messiah to the person next to them. They are Jesus. They are Yeshua. And they're being ignored. So start treating each other like you want to be treated. Like you would like to be treated when it's all over. When the game's over and you're standing in judgment, how would you like to be treated at that point in time? There's some people, you know, if I'm up there, hey, come here. This guy says he's your friend. I don't remember him. I knew somebody like that one time. Looks kind of like that, but that man there, I never knew him. Sorry. You know, brother, whatever your name was, don't remember you. So, pretty sad. But the truth, and the truth hurts sometimes. All right, let's pull together. Make a difference. Yahweh bless everyone. Thank you. Bye-bye.